Le Mans Ultimate's first major update and patch is officially here, so I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about this patch that includes 185 fixes, and it should be approximately 7.7 gigabytes to download. Now, there's no content with this, no fresh new content. It's all fixes, changes, and updating things and adjusting things. And I'm going to put the timestamps below for each segment of what they've changed if you want to skip to a particular bit. So let's start with those general updates. They have fixed a crash with the TGM option is enabled, often affecting triple screen users due to the default key combination. They fixed a crash type when joining or leaving a multiplayer server. They fixed dynamic raindrops not rendering on car surface. They've changed online race start so that the cars can no longer move on the grid. They've added additional logging for some issues, including loading, getting stuck at 48%, and joining servers to help us diagnose potential fixes. LMDH cars now currently switch to EV mode at the start of a pit stop. They've removed foreign characters from controller names that cause errors reading the file. They've also removed the possibility of getting into an internal loop of practice results in single player. They've adjusted the default post effect settings to low to improve performance across a wider variety of hardware. Where the settings now save and load correctly, player is no longer able to use more tires than they have available. They fixed low starting virtual energy, causing pit stops to be requested when they shouldn't be. They've fixed an issue causing head physics to be locked to the maximum of 10%. They've increased rate of windscreen cleaning at pit stops. They've increased the strength of terrain ambient occlusion for occluded areas in overcast lighting. And they've also fixed some issues where shadows would not work correctly on TV cameras, minor improvements to shadows in general. Moving to UI changes, they've moved tire management and setup menu options to the top navigation bar in race events for easier user access. Car wireframes have been removed and replaced with a top-down view of the car you are driving. They've added a virtual fuel and fuel capacity to the setup screen. They've fixed some areas of the game not translating to localized languages. They've updated triple screen multi-view tool graphics, and they've removed non-functional force feedback settings, and those are the special curve effect, the steer resistant effects, and the car specific force feedback. Now onto input devices. They've added Azatec wheel default presets. They've fixed the default steering angle on Moser profiles. They've adjusted the Moser R9 wheelbase preset, so they've fixed the inverted steering. The use of simultaneous shift up and down neutral activation now off by default. They've updated the G920 profile and corrected force feedback settings and updated default assignments. And they've also fixed steering torque sensitivity description and updated allowed range to be 100% to 200%. Moving on to AI will now be placed on the grid in class order on events with no qualifying. AI will now use proper race strategy in race-only single-player sessions, and they've improved AI tyre compound predictions at the start of a race. For online changes, users are now prevented from driving off during pre-race countdown. They've added an error notification for registering for an event when it's full after they have started servers. And they've said to register at least 6 minutes before a session to be guaranteed a space. Those who have not validated their email will now receive a message to do so when trying to go online. There's now a countdown to the race start in Monitor, and they've also removed the scary retire message if you're on grid. They fixed an issue of previously registered drivers showing up in other event pages. They fixed sometimes being sent to the wrong event when leaving a practice server. On the race monitor screen, you can now see info for all sessions on the left. For the event cards, no longer appear blank on the first launch. Updates to the online profile should now sync across multiple machines. They fixed some track maps being inverted on event cards. Time remaining in a race now updates live when the timescaled or events are run online. The safety car has been removed from being displayed as an available car on the event ticker, and weird numbers in chat near the end of an online race were removed. Moving on to circuits, specifically for Bahrain International Circuit, they've removed the rain from the default weather. They fixed undercar shadows not applying to terrain decals. For AI, they've done some minor updates. They've kept the AI off curbs at the penultimate turn, and they've fixed some track limits errors. For Fuji Raceway, they've improved the Mount Fuji material. They've updated advertisements, removed rain from default weather. They've fixed the undercar shadows not applying to terrain decals. They've fixed incorrect brake markers at turn 1. They've fixed floating props in the pit garages. They've done some minor terrain material updates. As for AI, they've done a major review, improved the main driving line. They've also fixed some track limit errors as well. For Le Mans, they've fixed undercar shadows not applying to terrain decals. For AI, they've done some minor revisions, and they've fixed some track limit errors and prevented dust effects on some surfaces which should not have them. For Monza, they've moved pit box 5, which was in empty garage, to occupied garage. They've added missing TV screen on pit wall platform. They've updated the pit entry and out signs to standard WEC standards. They've fixed the undercar shadows not applying to terrain decals. For AI, they've got minor revisions which stop AI overdriving at 2 varianti. They've fixed some track limit errors, parabolica and slightly more lenient at turn 1, small fixes to road lines as well. For Portimao, they've fixed the undercar shadows not applying to terrain decals. For the AI, they've fixed slowdowns onto main straight and some other minor revisions, and they've fixed some track limit errors as well. For Sebring International Raceway, they've removed the invisible collision barriers at main pit lane entry and the IMSA pit lane entry. They've fixed the undercar shadows not applying to terrain decals. They've improved the pit path for AI, and also they've done some minor tweaks to AI to stop the AI overdriving on some corners. They've also done some minor tweaks to track limits. For Spa, they've done a minor track limit revisions, including turn 1 review. And for the AI, they've fixed AI clipping pit wall on initial entry. Now onto vehicles. I'm going to start with the GTE lots with the Aston Martin Vantage GTE. They've removed the push decal from door. They've fixed the number plates on 55 and 98 Thor WEC. They've optimized shadow objects, fixed missing mirrors in cockpits. They've fixed hole in floor. They've fixed the headlights not reflecting in puddles. They've updated the headlight glow. They've updated the flag display. They've corrected the fuel estimate as it was too low. And they've added gear change restrictions, so going from neutral to reverse cannot be activated above 5 km per hour, and going from neutral to first cannot be activated above 80 km per hour. And just a note, just so I don't keep repeating myself, that gear change restriction has been applied to all the GTE cars that I will be mentioning in this video. Next is the Corvette C8R GTE. They fixed an issue with brake calibers. They've added the windscreen wear. They've added rain lights. They've adjusted the flag display settings. They've fixed the headlights not reflecting in puddles. They've optimized shadow objects. They've removed the kilometers per hour from HUD, and they've corrected the fuel estimate as again that was too low. For the Ferrari 488 GTE Evo, they've optimized the shadow mesh. They've fixed the issue with brake calibers. They've fixed the missing rear wing end plate. They've added a rain light, and they've added 12.5 kilometers of weight penalty for non-Le Mans tracks. As for the Porsche 911 RSR 19 GTE, they fixed a gap in center mirror that could be seen on onboard cameras. They fixed the mesh issue below the driver's side door. They fixed the position lights not showing on certain LODs. They fixed the headlights not showing in puddles. They've made the rain light a lot brighter. They fixed issue with brake calibers, adjusted the flag display settings. They've adjusted the cockpit camera position. They've also moved the flag display higher up. They've optimized all driver related meshes. They've increased the headlight glow brightness, they've added the custom colours to headlights, and they've corrected the fuel estimate, as again that was too low. That's all the changes for GTE. For LMP2, for the Oreca 7 LMP2, they've optimized shadow mesh, they fixed the rain tyre textures not showing, they fixed the headlights not showing in puddles, they fixed the brake lights not showing, they've updated the flag display, they've corrected the fuel estimate as that was too low again, and they've changed the gearbox downshift protection RPM threshold down to 83,000 RPM. Now onto the hypercars. For the Cadillac V-Series R LMDH, they've updated the flag display, they've fixed the left and right mirrors not being adjustable, they've fixed the headlights not showing in puddles, and they've added extra 10mm of range for rear third packer settings. For the Ferrari 499P LMH, they have fixed the gap in center mirror that could be seen on onboard cameras. They fixed the rim blur. They fixed strange shadows on tracks in cockpit view. They've also fixed headlights not showing in puddles and a typo in default setups. For the Glickenhaus SCG007 LMH, they have fixed 2 objects poking out of a cockpit were visible from the external view. They've also fixed the font so R shows in non-English languages, as well as the rear camera being too bright and the headlights not showing in puddles and the headlight glow not showing. They've also updated the flag display and the exterior on-throttle sample sound update and slightly increased volume. For the Peugeot 9X8 LMH, they've fixed the rim animation, they've updated the animation and textures, they've updated the LOD UVW maps, they've adjusted the flag display settings, they've sent up camera, they've optimized the shadow mesh, they've made headlights reflect in puddles, and they've changed the default setups. For the Porsche 963 LMDH, they've updated rim material, they've fixed the low body LOD, they've fixed setting change title and text, they've removed arrows from detail mesh, they've added blue pit light for car number 5, and they've added the red pit light for car number 75. They've adjusted the emission labels, optimized shadow meshes, updated rim smoothing, added rain light, updated flag display, made headlights reflect in puddles. They've added extra 10mm of range for the car, third packer settings, and they've done small onboard engine sound sample bug fix. For the Toyota GR10 LMH, they have updated the cockpit materials. They fixed the number plate clipping on certain LOD levels. They fixed the issue with brake calibers. They have adjusted the flag display settings. They fixed the cockpit view position. They've moved the flag display up. They've made headlights reflect in puddles. They've lowered the HUD and flag display glow. They've changed the default setups. They've also adjusted the RCS class filter correction. They've also corrected the RCD class filter, and they've reduced onboard MGU volume. For the Van Wall van der Wel 680 LMH, final change in the final car is they've added a rain light, updated the collision mesh, they've updated the wiper animation, they've fixed the brake light, they've updated the flag display, they've updated the brakes textures and meshes, updated current LODs and added missing LODs, they've optimized shadow mesh, optimized LODs, they've added interior glow mesh, and finally, they've made headlights reflect in puddles. And that's it. That's every single change in the latest 7GB update that you got for Le Mans Ultimate. What did you think of the changes here? I think it's a good start. They're starting to fix a lot of things. Was there a particular thing that you wanted fixed and it's now fixed? Let me know in the comments below. And that's going to conclude today's video. If you enjoyed it, found it helpful, found it interesting, and like to see more content like this one, make sure you're subscribed. I don't just do Le Mans Ultimate content here, I do other racing simulation games on the channel, so if that interests you, you can stick around, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.